Hey guys, Mentor Brit here. So today what I do is I turn wishful thinking into powerful action, and I'm kind of going to guide you guys through some of the biggest challenges that I've ran into in my life, but at the same time be able to guide you in a way that you are able to set your own areas of what you believe you can accomplish, so that way you can actually achieve those goals. So sorry, my light is kind of like distracting me right now. I'm like major ADHD. It's been a Monday. So today is Motivational Monday. This is my new series that I've been doing. And I am super excited about today's lesson, I guess. So today I'm going to talk about expectations. Limited expectations, setting expectations, having no expectations especially, and kind of just go on a little rant about all of those different things. So years and years ago, when I first started opening up businesses, I started my following and I started doing everything like building up how to build different things back in 2009. So it's been quite a while. We're going on like almost 13 years, something like that. So, and of course I started way back when with Avon. I got no sales whatsoever. And then I went to a different company, and then I kind of company hopped for a few years, and then I settled in one company. That company actually moved me across the country from Arizona to Florida. I lived 4 miles from the beach. Now I live about 10 miles from the beach, in a smaller location that I actually enjoy a lot more, because I've been living minimalistically for about 2 years now. And there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened in that 2 years. Especially, there's been a lot of things that have happened since I began my business ventures. A lot of them, when I started building my following, it was mostly just getting the courage and getting the voice out there of other victims that have survived through childhood sexual abuse. I had no idea where it would take me. All I knew is I needed to get my voice out there. I was in the earlier stages of my intense trauma therapy at that point. Still a few years in, but I had begun the in-depth parts of it. And through all of these things, I had no expectations. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen in my life. I kind of just learned to go with the flow. And for me, this has been something that over the years has been crucial, absolutely crucial, and why I'm able to be where I'm at today. Over 4 different platforms, I believe it is. There's something of like 25,000 followers between different groups that I've organized, different programs that I've ran. I have about 4 active websites currently. So it's been a building process, and it definitely didn't happen overnight. I actually didn't get truly involved in it until about 4 years in. And then in 2013, I was like, okay, we gotta go at it. We just gotta go. Like, I have nothing left. We gotta go. It's now or never. And then a few other things happened in my life along the way, and it's kind of just been going on and on, like, now is the time. Like, we just gotta keep pushing, level up. So one of the reasons that I wanted to go in here and talk to you guys about this is because when you set an expectation, regardless of what it's about, it could be about you posting certain things online, about the amount of views that you're going to get, the amount of subscribers you're going to get. It could be about anything from how many customers you're going to have or what a customer is going to pay. It could be how successful a business is going to be. And let me tell you, I've had many flunk, down the toilet, down the drain, like you name it, it has been there, okay? So And I'm still nowhere near where I want to be at, okay? That's why I keep growing. That's why I keep pushing through, because for me, every time that I reach a new level, I decide I need to get a little bit better and I need to do this. And I set no expectations every time. That's one of the biggest things for me, is I cannot set a limit on how many people I'm going to reach. Now, for me, my ultimate big goal is to one day be able to say that I have touched 1 million lives. I don't know how. It could be through products, it could be through services that I do, through my mentoring, it could be through the products that we sell, it could be through anything, really. I mean, it could be through something that I've done in my life that I've shared about and someone resonates with it. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to touch these people. I don't know how. That's why I have so many different platforms, because for me, that is how I grow. And for me, the biggest thing I can do for myself is have no limitations whatsoever and no expectations. Because if I set a limit on myself, I can't, if I say I'm only going to have 5 or 10 or 100 customers this month, what if I reach 200? You know, like for me, yeah, that's huge. But if I just say, hey, I want none, if I just want to touch a life with a post and I don't get a sale, that one sale that I get, or those 3 sales that I get, or the 10 sales that I get, that's a big deal for me. So, and it doesn't matter how big they are, it doesn't matter how small they are, because I wasn't expecting any of them. None of them whatsoever. So when I get the 1 or the 10 or the 8 or the 3 or the 5, it's all great. And then when people message me that, you know, a post did this for them or gave them the courage to do this, or I had someone say that they finally went to the police department about their own issues with their childhood sexual abuse and filed that report. That for me was huge. That's the whole reason why I started all of these different projects of mine. And yes, they are kind of scattered, but they all come back to the same place. They all come back to the reason why I do everything, and that is to show my kids that they can go after the things regardless of what they had, and they will be better off than I was, because I grew up in a very, very abusive home, and I will not let that happen to my kids ever. So that's the whole reason why I started everything. And going into everything without any expectations has allowed me to not only find joy in every time that I get something that's not expected, it's also helped me be a little bit more courteous and considerate of the people that I touch, regardless of what goes on in their life. My life isn't perfect either. The last 15 weeks out of my pregnancy, out of the 18 weeks that I've been pregnant, I was in and out of the hospital. I had had kidney infections. I have kidney abscess now. I had had 2 rounds of antibiotics. The second round kind of worked for the most part, but I still have issues here and there. We were able to finally get a diagnosis for my blood issues that I've had since I was 12. I mean, it's been a roller coaster. And my business that I just recently opened, to be able to get certain products out to others that I have had a hard time finding myself, and I wanted to be able to offer it in one hub to others. That business has only been open for like 4 months, and obviously, no, it's been about 6 months, but out of those 6 months, there's been about 3 months where I physically can't do anything, okay? Like, I could not get out of bed for half the time. So it's been hard. I also had HG. I still kind of do, but we figured out it's more related to motion sickness, so I'm on a motion sickness medicine now. And then we found out that I have 400 markers for motion sickness in my genetics, so you can get the picture that it's been kind of crazy in my house, especially related to all the things with me. If I was to have been with corporate America, there's no way I would have lasted. I wouldn't have. And that's okay with me, because I don't need to have that in order for me to feel the joy. I don't need to have X amount of customers in order for me to feel the joy of what I'm bringing to the world. It's something that when you don't have those expectations of anything, you just open it because you feel connected to it and you feel like you can help someone out in the long run. You can educate someone, you can bring them joy, you can help them find healing somehow, some way, whichever way is best for them. They can decide for themselves which way. When you do something like that, you get so much more relief. There's so less stress put on me about myself. I no longer worry about my worth. I no longer worry about how we're gonna do certain things because I don't set that expectation. Now, there's certain goals that I would like to reach, and I have not reached those goals yet. I did hit a big milestone in my company not long ago, which is I'm very thankful for. But it took a while to get there, and I did it even while I was sick. And that to me shows that it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. No one wants you to be perfect. All they want you to do is be human. And that's something that my customers honor with me, and that's something that is very personal between my customers and I, is making sure that, you know, there's been people that I've moved immediately after they put in an order because they had issues with their life going on and they needed to redirect things or hold off on packages or do whatever. That's been okay. Okay, I can do that. I can hold off on it. It's not going to bother me. There's been times that I have set certain limits on when they, you know, like if they need to wait 6 months to pay off an item, that's fine too. That's totally up to them. I didn't start any of my businesses for the money, ever. Yes, the money's great, but that's not why I started it. I didn't start my Facebook to have the followers. I started to share my voice. Because so many people find themselves so alone that it's extremely unfair. They feel like they're alone in their healing process. They feel like they're not being understood. They feel like sometimes even their therapist isn't the right therapist for them. Sometimes they just need support and they need a friend. Yes, sometimes people need money too, but at the end of the day, it's not priority. The people that I've noticed that follow me for over a decade now don't give a shit that I was homeless at one point. They helped me find a place to stay. They helped me be able to move myself. They didn't care what I wore, how much money I made, anything like that. They cared because they knew my intentions. They know that I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. And I'm definitely not anywhere near where I want to be in any of these places, in any of the things. But I have accomplished 4 dream boards in 5 years. And many people can't say that. And I was able to confidently leave an abusive relationship with a child, be able to stand my ground in trial without a lawyer, and still ultimately get many of the things that I needed for me and for the safety of my son. Those are the things that people care about. So today it's a Monday, and it's a crazy Monday. I've had no expectations for today. I barely was able to get here on time for the time frame that I had set to do this video. I wasn't expecting the way this morning went to be as crazy as it was. I wasn't expecting it to be as hectic as it was. I wasn't expecting to get the messages that I did. But it worked itself out. It found a way. Because if it's gonna be, and if it's meant to be, it's gonna find a way. Always. Always, always, always. There's never going to be a time that if something is not meant to be, it will not work out. My son was meant to go to school this morning. His bus didn't arrive until 8:30. The bus didn't arrive at the school until 8:50. They start school at 8:20. By God's grace, there was another parent there who was willing to take all the kids to the school. Thankfully, he was able to get Caden there in a timely manner before 8:30. And so my son doesn't have to miss out on any of the therapies that they do in class because he needs them very badly. The whole reason that we're in this program is because he's in 5 different therapies and it's under one roof. So it's less stress on me, and being that I don't have a vehicle, obviously it makes it a little bit to where, I'm limited. But I had no expectations. This was the first day for me with him on the bus. So tomorrow we're going to try again. And I've talked to the teacher and we have everything set in order. And we're just going to keep growing. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing about the first year of anything is perfect. Pretty much everything that I'm in right now, I'm still in the first year of. Until September, I'm still not even a year at this house. So you have to have no expectations going into things. You have to. It's okay if things don't work out. And if it hurts you that things don't work out, you need to look at you. You need to see why. Why didn't that work out? You may not have the answer and you may not know. There's a good chance you simply don't know, and that is okay. It's okay. You don't have to know. But you'll find out at some point why it didn't work out. Or you'll find out at some point why it went amazing the way that it did. It's not going to be perfect. Everything that we do in this life is not going to be solved. It's not going to fall in place immediately. Half the things we do are not going to fall in place immediately. But what I can tell you without a doubt is that if it is meant to be, it'll be. It'll find a way. There is no doubt about it. There's always something that you can learn from, you can grow from. Always something going on behind the scenes that you probably have no idea about. Especially when it comes to your followers and your customers. Especially. I had one person that recently almost lost her husband, and she couldn't say anything publicly about it. And we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know anything we could do other than pray together. And it scared the hell out of me. And I didn't expect her to say anything to me. I never expected to receive the message that I did. I'm sure she never expected to walk into the house that she did. It was nerve-wracking. And it took 3 weeks for me to get an update. Just a brief update. I didn't ask specifics because that's not my business to know. That's her life. I just said, are you still at the same address? Am I okay to send this package to this address still? If not, that's okay. I just want to make sure that everything is stable as far as shipment goes. If you need me to hold off on it, that's perfectly fine too. I didn't give a damn that if she needed to have me send it somewhere else or hold off on the item or refund her back because she needed to have the money. But instead, what I got in return is that, no, send those items whenever you have time, because she knows I have a busy life. And whenever you get those items to me, that's perfectly okay. I'm not a perfect business owner. She's not a perfect customer. I'm not a perfect mentor. And I don't want to have perfect people around me. I don't need perfect people. My expectation for people is to be real. That's all it is. And if you don't want to have space to say anything to me, that's perfectly fine. I am not your priority. I'm not, frankly. You have your life over there. You have a family. You have your kids. You have your house. You have those things to worry about. All of my customers do, and all of my families do that I speak to. And most of the times, it's not until about 4 or 8 weeks later that I hear something about why something occurred. It's not because I needed to know. It's because they felt valued enough to come to me to let me know. They didn't have to let me know though. It was not going to affect me if they let me know or not. I didn't care if they had placed an order or not. That is, our lives are separate. I love them dearly and I pray about them all the time, but I don't need to know their ins and the outs of their life. Especially to know what their intentions are. Whether I'm buying from them, they're buying from me, things aren't perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. Nothing. And you have to go into everything that you do every day, even if it's just sitting at a bus stop, with no expectations. Because the less expectations that you have, the less disappointments you can have, the less anger you can have, the less aggression that you can have, and the less disappointments and like sadness and everything. Like, you'd lose all those emotions the moment that you say that you have no expectations. You don't need those expectations. Sometimes people don't have those same expectations as you, and that's okay. They're allowed to feel what they want to feel, do what they want to do, and not be perfect. They are completely allowed. And so are you. And you're allowed to have whatever emotions you want to have. But you cannot set the expectations for the other person about what they're going to do. I can't go out and tell my husband he's going to make $1 million this year. I can't. That's something he has to decide for himself of what he's going to work for this year. Is that his goal? I don't know. I don't know what his goal is. I do know his goal is to provide for our family. That's what I care about. The intentions. He can go out there and he can bring home $10 a week. And his intentions would still be to provide. And some weeks, they're harder than others. Some weeks we only bring in $50, and that's okay. Because we don't have expectations. I don't set a month ahead about what we're going to do for the next month, other than we're going to pay the bills, and that's about it. Sometimes we want to do something fun, but we don't have to do that something fun right away. Some of those things can hold off. They don't have to happen immediately after the idea comes into our head. You don't have to have the expectations. You don't. I promise you. So think about the things that go on in your life on a daily basis. Think about the goals that you have. Yes, it's great to set long-term goals. Yes, it's great to set short-term goals. But you cannot expect actions out of other people. You can't. I can't make my father forgive himself for the childhood that he went through that caused him to harm me. I can't. I never will. He's got to decide within himself, just like he had to decide within himself about his prison sentence. We came a week away from going to trial. One single week away from going to trial. And then he pled guilty. And I think that was a conscious decision that he made because he knew about all the evidence that was presented. There was an ample amount of evidence. And I think he knew that if he went to trial, he'd have no chance at life outside. He's served his time now. He's out. He's on parole. He is a registered sex offender. And I think about it often, ever since he's been out, the last few years, because he got out around the time that I had my son. I think about it often. My expectations for him can't be anything more than somehow this man finding enough love for himself that he's able to forgive himself for what he did, change his ways, go through the counseling he desperately needs to not only overcome the childhood traumas that I'm sure he has, but also face those traumas so that way he can become a better person. Is he ever going to be a perfect man? Hell no. My husband's not even a perfect man, okay? He's not ever going to be that. But what he can do is he can learn to love properly, not in a harmful way. Learn to change his ways so that way somehow, some way, some good can find him. And I don't know how that's going to be. I can't tell you what actions he's going to have to take. I can tell you what I would like for him to do as a survivor. And I can speak out continuously to make sure that people are aware. But I can't decide for him what he's worth. I can't. I'll never do that. But I will bring awareness to it. Because so many people go silent and it is not worth it. And what he did ultimately hurt not only me, but hurt my entire generation in my family. Everyone in my generation has had issues revolving the things that we experienced regarding not only the coming out of the abuse, but the traumas within from when he suddenly was not a part of the family functions anymore. When I suddenly was not a part of the family functions anymore because I had to go into hiding. It's okay. We had no expectations whatsoever about what was going to happen. I didn't even know the week that things came out that they were going to come out. All I knew is if I'm open about things and if I keep saying the right prayers about everything, the right things would come. Whether it be to me, whether it be to him, I don't know. And then the storm hit. And it was hard and it was brutal. But it was so fucking worth it. So fucking worth it. And it took 13 years, roughly, for me to get back in contact with my biological brother. It took 13 years to get back in contact with one of my most favorite cousins, who now, God bless her, she doesn't know the things that she has done in my life. And I had no expectations for any of that. And it doesn't matter what things that you have going on in your life, if they're big or if they're small. It could be as little as the bus stop, or going to Dollar Tree and having your card decline, or it could be something as big as that. We don't know. I don't know what's going on in your life. But what I do know is that when you don't set expectations for it, you will always, always be thankful for what comes of it. Always. You'll always find that hope. You'll always find that love that you want. You'll always find the money that you need. It may not come the way you think. I'll tell you that. But it'll come. Okay? Just go ahead and write down some of the things that right now you're struggling with or you've had concerns about. Write down those things. And if you've had any expectations about how those things are going to go, write that down too. You need to write those things down. And what you need to do is you need to reframe those expectations. If you're saying to yourself that I'll heal completely within 5 years of coming out about the own abuse that I'm going through, I'm telling you, honey, you're not. No matter what happened, big or small, it's a lifelong effect. It's not a bad thing, okay? It makes you stronger. That's for damn sure. But it will affect the way that you think in the long run, no matter what goes on in your life. It'll affect things that aren't even related to it. It's not going to be easy. Nothing in life is fucking easy. But it's worth it. So write down the things that you have going on. Maybe little things that you have planned. Write down expectations that you think of what could occur. And then write down something positive about if it doesn't occur. What is something positive about that? Find the positive of if that doesn't occur either in a timely manner, the way you expect. Look at it and see how that could help you grow somewhere in your life. That's what I want you to do. That's what I need you to do. That's your homework. You're gonna get through the hard time. Everyone's not perfect, but you're gonna get through it. And no matter what goes on, You can't have the expectations for other people. The only thing that you can have expectations for is yourself. That's it. I can say, hey, I need to go dye my roots. Okay, so I'm gonna go dye my roots. Hey, I'm gonna do this video by 1 p.m. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this video by 1 p.m. Those are things of expectations that you can set for you, yourself. Because the only person that you can hold accountable is you. You can try to hold other people accountable all you want, but it's not gonna work. The only way that you can hold people accountable, other people accountable, is through forgiveness and love. Love them in the fucking hard times, okay? You don't know what's going on. I promise you, you don't. I don't give a crap how many times you see them, either in person or online. You don't know anything about what's going on in their life, and you don't know how they feel. You don't. You can think you do, but you don't. So take those things and think about them, and I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe right over here. Check out these 2 videos, well, this playlist, that video. Check those things out, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.